Andy, can you talk to us just about the team selection? Obviously just the one enforced change, and Keith Earls on the bench for, as you described it this week, the biggest game of your lives.
Selection's been difficult enough because people are always challenging within the group, so that's always good, but at the same time challenging in the right manner. And the meeting this morning was all about us making sure that we're on the same page and pushing in the right direction together, because the force of everyone that's on tour, and there's a good few of us, there's near 70 of us on tour. Everyone pushing in the right direction over the next couple of days is going to be a hell of a force for us, and that's the session obviously after the selection, and everyone's right on point, which is great news.
How would you describe where everybody is right now, given the fact that such a big crowd? There's a lot of positivity given the last two results.
Well, look, everyone realises the size of the task in hand, but there's a lot of excitement in being able to deal with that. I think the best part of where we're at is that we know we can do better. I think what we've done pretty well over the last period of time is have a clear understanding of what our game is all about and what we need to do to get better, and it becomes more clear and obvious the more that we push on together. So, albeit we had a decent result in the last test, hopefully our best is saved to last.
And given the All Black selection and given last weekend, how much improvement is there required from an Ireland point of view to get over the line?
Yeah, I reckon so, but we'll see whether there is that much improvement that's needed, because, like I keep on saying to you, we're in control as well as them. They've got a plan. But it's up to us to make sure that we, like I keep saying, bring a bit of chaos to that plan, and we've got to make sure that we put a bit of doubt in the All Blacks' minds as the game goes, like every other game, because of our intentions and our accuracy in what we do. So that's what we need to get over the line first and foremost. But in answering to your question, that it really doesn't get any better for us. We know we've all talked about playing against the All Blacks when the backs are against the wall or they've come off a loss, and we know what the history says about all that. But that's exactly where we want to be. We know that they'll be hurting. We know that they bounce back unbelievably strong. We've played them enough times now to realise what's coming, but to have them in the last game before we break now for another season, when we expect them to be fired up, really wanting to prove a point to us and to themselves, it couldn't be any better for us. To be able to deal with those type of situations is exactly where we want to be.
How important is it that you paint the right pictures for Wayne Barnes on Saturday night?
Discipline's huge in any game, and we have a very experienced referee who we know very well, and I hope that discipline's not part of the reason why there's a result that goes either way for both teams.
And just a final question from me: can you talk about where we are, the significance of being here in Jerry Collins Stadium, and what an influence he has been to everybody, even with the shirts hanging up the wall and previous visits to here?
Oh yeah, I mean, the history here. When you look at all the shirts, that's not just Jerry's, but all the ones that's been involved in this great club is there for all to see, And we had a great welcome before training today, and Mick Kearney, our manager, responded very nicely back to them as well. So it's great to have the hospitality of this stadium.
Cheers, thanks, man.
You mentioned that you'd like to put some doubt into the All Blacks' minds. Do you feel you've already dealt them a significant level of doubt so far this tour?
I think they started to understand our game a little bit more, and it's like any game, There's if one team's imposing their game on the opposition, then there's always a little bit of doubt that creeps in from both sides, you know. So that's the nature of the game, you know. And like you were saying to you, I think the All Blacks over the years have been the world's best at being calm under pressure, and just staying on point and not letting things get to them too much. But it's our job to make sure that we push them to the limits of that.
I'm sure as an international coach you'll be aware of the waves that you ride in terms of criticisms and positive feedback in the media. Probably wouldn't come as a surprise that Ian Foster is under a lot of pressure in New Zealand media at the moment. Do you think that might play a part in this week?
I think Ian Foster's a fantastic coach and a great bloke at that. It's not my job to comment on stuff like that.
Just on the issue of cards, Andy, do you think that New Zealand Rugby, or perhaps the All Blacks, haven't quite grasped what's required to play within World Rugby structures or head high?
Again, it's not for me to comment on the All Blacks. You know, it's up to me to make sure that our guys understand what the rules are, and whether you agree with them or not, you've got to adhere by them, and that's it. And you know, I think we can debate after this series is over. You know, and as the Southern Hemisphere rolls over into the Rugby Championship, we can debate that after this. But the rules are, for us now, are clear, and we make sure, and we always have done. To be fair, we're not a side that really plays on the edge. We're a side that respects being disciplined, so that we can't give the opposition an edge as far as that's concerned. It works both ways for some people. Some love playing on the edge and putting the referees under pressure. We tend to be a side that likes to have a low penalty count, so therefore we can try and dominate territory in that way as well.
Okay.
Can I ask a broader rugby-specific question? I don't know what the narrative is for the home nation, so I can't speak for that. But here in New Zealand, there's a bit of an identity crisis around rugby at grassroots level, popularity waning off. How significant is it that 3 of the biggest rugby series in the world at the moment have all gone to deciders this weekend? Do you think this is quite a pivotal weekend for the rugby landscape?
I think it says everything about New Zealand if you're thinking at grassroots level it's on the wane, because every time I go down a motorway or past the school, there's rugby being played everywhere. So I wished it was like that back home, you know. So I don't think it's on the wane at all from what I've seen.
Sure, but the numbers actually in terms of secondary schools, so it is I guess it's a part of a national discussion here at the moment.
Well, I suppose we're all trying to get to that point. You know what I mean? We're pushing the game, so it's great for us. Look, from what we've heard, the excitement back home is reaching fever point. So that's exactly what we want to do for Irish rugby.